we don't have a lot of solid information other than some expenditures, but as far as revenues are concerned, we don't really have a lot of information as of right now. And next week is when we expect to hear from the state budget. So, Mr. Olson.
Thank you. Yes, as Dr. Paolino said, unfortunately, we don't have too much new information. So we'll what we have. This slide is from the last time, so it's nothing new. It's the governor's budget. But this slide gives you a slight sense of what the other two, what the legislature is looking at. So on the Senate side of the legislature, they're suggesting that funding for education be about $250 million over the governor's proposal. But it also includes $75 million more in community schools aid, which, as we've discussed earlier, is speculative in terms of whether we're going to have to add expense. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And this is just math because I like math. But if 700 school districts in the state share equally in that excess, it would be $341,000 each, which, again, as Dr. Paolino mentioned earlier, we have no idea what's really going to happen, nor how money will be distributed. On the Assembly side, they're viewing this a little more generously with almost $1 billion, $887 million, above the governor's proposal. And there's a few fewer strings attached on the Assembly side. And again, if all the school districts shared in that, it would be worth $1.3 million per district, which again, the chances are, as Dr. Paolino mentioned earlier, that this is going to settle somewhere in between all of this. But that's what we know at the moment in terms of their proposals. There's a lot of little details in these, but this is the top line. Health insurance has once again emerged as a spoiler in our budget. Last time we told you that because of the DHIC increase, the KTF plan would be rising substantially. The MVP increase, with which we are community rated, is a high one as well. And we just found out this week that right now Empire is looking for an even a higher increase than the other two, 19.22, which is amazing. Speaking of healthcare, what I've been hearing on the DHIC side, this was touched on earlier, my understanding from people who are familiar with that is that what drove that DHIC increase this year, and what may be driving all this stuff, is a lot of it is prescriptions. That there's enormous prescription demand, and as you know, with some of the new drugs coming out, some of them are extraordinarily expensive. Some of these new drugs for a variety of things. I'm sure you've read about them just as I have. So, but anyway, DHIC, some people at DHIC told me that the prescription stuff is really what really drove their costs this year. So in any case, just looking at health insurance overall, and we talked about this. So in total, in all these plans, the increase for health insurance is bordering on $5 million, which is pretty spectacular, and an increase of almost 15% just in our healthcare plans. I mentioned last week, and of course, as you can imagine, it hasn't changed, that healthcare insurance for actives and retirees eats up about 21% of our budget. So, because of now that we've learned about the Empire increase and added that impact to our budget, the overage that we talked about last time at 1.1 million is now 1.6 million. So our expenses, went up by about $500,000, and right now, as you know, we have no revenue offset for that we know of. Albany is supposed to settle their budget on April 1st. Governor Cuomo has been fairly consistent about having a budget out at that point. So I'm sure he's with a couple other guys in the room talking even as we speak. So hopefully we'll know more within a week about that. But we have Right now, we need to overcome $1.625 million to balance this budget at the levy limit of 1.35%, which we will definitely do. We will hit 1.35% somehow or other. You can be sure of that. So that's essentially where we are. Really, the changes are, we know a little bit about what the legislature is talking about, and our health insurance costs seem to be going up even more than we thought. Any questions, comments?
Comment, wow.
That's how I feel. Yeah, wow, indeed. Yeah.
I called Senator Amador's office today, and I would encourage everybody else.
Good idea.
Mr. Nelson, could you just go back to the Senate and the Assembly proposals, just so everyone sees? So, you know, obviously the Assembly is, the Senate is where you, I mean, the Assembly you can make those calls, but the Senate is going to
And
really
that's
focus our lobbying efforts.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland. That concludes the superintendent report.